So this is the building for the Ireland Ministry of Education Educational Research Center. This is where the PISA program for International Student Assessment is conducted. And this is in Drumcondra on the St. Patrick's University. So today we're at the ERC, Educational Research Center, and you're Caroline McKeown. And are you what PISA director? That's your title?
The project manager for 2018.
For 2018. And so after the next one in 2021, you won't be doing that?
I'd have to ask the CEO about who's going to do that.
All right.
That would be negotiated.
Right. And is it Jerry? Your first name?
I'm Susan.
Susan, I'm sorry. Susan, what do you do here?
Well, at the moment I'm involved in an evaluation of a program for disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you
the mainstream
about
program that the department puts on for primary and second level kids.
Okay. And Caroline, can you just tell me real quick before we talk about how you said in regards to PISA is another company selects that, some type of outside company selects the schools that are going to be done?
We are asked to provide data on all schools in Ireland.
All right.
So in order to choose or select or randomly sample a kind of sub-selection of schools in Ireland to represent all schools in Ireland. So they get data that we can look at school type, school size, and then gender and socio-economic status.
And is that the OECD that then compiles all that info, or is it?
The OECD doesn't do it. It's Westat that does it. So we provide all of the schools in Ireland, about 700 post-primary schools in Ireland. We provide data on all of those variables for all those schools, and then they do a sample of those schools and send back the sample to us.
And how many kids are actually tested here in Ireland?
So the sample this time around that was selected from the students is 157 schools. 150 schools have 44 students in them, and then there were 7 small schools in Ireland that were selected as part of that sample. So they don't have 44 eligible students. So in total it's about 6,908 students that have been sampled, but all of those won't be assessed because of absenteeism or special educational need exemptions.
Let me just ask you, so Ireland only has what, 4.2 million or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So with the US, which has 318 million, then what would the sampling size be with that? Like much larger, right?
You'd have to ask the American team that. Yeah.
Is that right?
It wouldn't be
much larger than ours.
Oh, is that right?
It wouldn't be scaled up like whatever the population is.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was trying to figure that out.
It wouldn't be whatever it is.
Yeah. Be similar number of schools they wouldn't be like X number 100 times larger.
No.
But you would be looking at something that would be representative of the national population of schools. So you get variables so you can have information on all schools in the US, and then you select a sample of those.
And this is across all socioeconomic. Is that what
it's designed to, insofar as possible, to achieve that. So,
right.
So some kind of indicator of the socioeconomic intake or socioeconomic profile, I suppose, of each of the schools that are sent from us to the sampling contract.
Yeah. Just so I have that, I know you're the CEO, and I'm horrible with names and I'm tired, but what is your first and last name? Peter. Okay. So then, Caroline, I think I got the basic information on PISA. Then what did you have in mind from here? Did you just want me to ask some questions on disadvantage or?
Yeah, whatever you're interested in, we're happy to kind of talk about those topics.
Yeah, so as far as like disadvantaged schools, because I think that is important, and Caroline mentioned to me, you said, in Finland, it's not just the educational system, but it's the whole system, right? In terms of an equalized system that kind of, as you were talking about, was it Pasi talked about that with I think he said, in the Finnish system, it wasn't just the schools, but it was the society as a whole that kind of equalizes things.
But they have a different kind of orientation in their system.
So would you say that's similar here in Ireland, or?
The countries that participate in PISA, which is a significant percentage of all the countries in the world.
72 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
80 this cycle.
Oh, there's 80. Well.
Well, they differ in terms of the extent to which there's social equality or inequality,
Mhm.
and the Scandinavian countries are probably,
The top.
yeah, there's less inequality in,
Mhm.
in those countries, and that's partly, but only partly, a result of social policy in a wide range of areas, not just education.
Mhm.
They have fairly sophisticated systems of income support.
Yeah.
The healthcare is universally provided, all that kind of stuff. And
Even down to parental leave and social policies that affect genders.
that kind of support as
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that helps promote gender equality as well. I think that PISA uses a number of different ways of measuring inequality as it's evident in the education system, and I think we're far from the bottom.
Yeah.
Like the level of inequality in Irish society is significantly less than in an awful lot of other countries.
Mhm.
Not as good as the Scandinavian countries,
Yeah.
but still better than a lot of others.
Well,
But
our between school variance would be
Yeah.
very low
Mhm.
compared to other countries.
Right, like the US,
Yeah,
right.
that's kind of down to the model of post-primary schools that we have in Ireland.
Mhm. And why do you think that is?
Why we
Why
don't?
do you think
or-
the variance is pretty close in all the schools?
Well, it's. I was going to go on to say to make the point that even though in terms of the international ranking, we look pretty good,
Mhm.
but there still is a significant amount of inequality
Mhm.
Yeah.
here, and there are differential paths into different types of schools.
Mhm.
So that you go to any medium to large sized town in Ireland, and you probably have 3 or 4 post-primary schools, and they differ very significantly from each other in terms of their intake.
Mhm.
So that like this is stereotyping it and exaggerating it a bit, but you'd have a situation where all the children coming from public housing would be in one school, and all the children of the professional classes are in another school.
Mhm.
So it's so I suppose what I'm trying to say is that's a worldwide phenomenon,
Mhm.
and the fact that we look reasonably good on a league table of that kind of thing is kind of from a policy making point of view in Ireland beside the point,
Yeah.
because the aim is to reduce that, and that's why you have programs like
And then they have -1, -2, and
Mm.
that kind of brings you in, right?
Well, yeah, the -1 and -2 is like -1 would be the kind of more disadvantaged schools catering for more concentrations of disadvantaged families, and -2 are the ones that are less so. But there is an element of, there's a factor which is involved here, which is parental choice, which is that people can elect to send their child to any school that they want. And that's actually in the Constitution.
Really?
Yeah.
So it means that you're not, for example, in England, you have a limited sphere of kind of proximity where your
Where you
child has to
live.
go to school, where you live, and that has all sorts of impacts on housing prices and so on.
Mhm.
But in Ireland, you can, and there's evidence to suggest that a lot of people bypass their closest school to go to one
Really?
much further
I didn't
away.
know that. See, I didn't know, you're the
Yeah.
first person that told me that. I forgot to ask that.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about that is that we don't have any published outcome data in Ireland either. In fact, it's expressly prohibited under the Education Act, so we can't have league tables. And
Mhm.
yet there is this very active parental choice issue
Mhm.
operating. So it's a very interesting area for researchers to
Mhm.
be involved in. But what ends up happening is that, for example, where in the past they have built big areas of local authority housing and a school beside it, all the kids from the block of flats go to the same school. And the more active, the more ambitious parents send
They'll
their
seek out something
yeah,
else.
they go elsewhere. So you end up with sometimes schools catering for big concentrations of kids from poor backgrounds.
Mhm.
And those are the kinds of schools that you would get in, say, Ballard 1,
Mhm.
Yeah.
traditionally.
How much extra money are they putting in per student?
Well, there's an increased capitation fee. I don't know what it is actually over and above the standard one. But it's more than just money. It's
Mhm.
all sorts of resources. It's extra teachers, for example, to bring the
Mhm.
class sizes down in the first 4 years of smaller than average class sizes, 20 or below, in the very disadvantaged schools. They have meals provided. They
Right.
have homeschool community liaison personnel that reach out into the families to try to get the parents more involved in schooling and school work.
This is at the primary level and the secondary level?
Yeah, and the secondary
Yeah.
level as well.